Hey fam, so Second Timothy is the book, is the letter that I read this morning. Book two, I guess. It is Paul's, as you would imagine from the title, second letter to his son in the faith, Timothy. We learn a little bit more about Timothy too, about how he grew up under godly instruction from his grandmother Lois and his mom Eunice. That's in chapter one, but in chapter three or four, he talks about how they taught him the scriptures from his youth. And so it's really neat to see that here is one of the founders, I guess, of the early church, if I could put it that way, a godly man who was instrumental in the scriptures. And he really, his spiritual legacy is from his mom, is from his grandmother, who were diligent to disciple him and teach him the scriptures from his time he was a little kid. Um, from Paul, we see this is at the end of his life, and he it's not a retrospective, but he does give some more details. There was one thing that I caught that I hadn't caught before, when he's talking about some of the trials that he's gone through, imprisonments and all of that. At one point, he was given to the lions. It says, I didn't. I didn't think of that. I didn't know that, I guess. It kind of reminds me of Daniel in the lion's den. Look at this is a painting of Daniel in the lion's den that some of you may have seen before. But anyways, um, this letter, if Paul's first letter to Timothy reads as a commencement speech, Paul's second letter to Timothy reads like a life lessons, and an encouragement to live a godly life. It quite literally is, and just really strikes me of just the advice that somebody on their deathbed after a long, faithful life would give to a friend. And that's really what the letter from Paul, Second Timothy, is. He talks about that towards the end and kind of goes through some relationships of people that have left him, some people that have harmed him, some people that have really encouraged him and blessed him. And he's just passing the torch on to Timothy. And so it's a really good letter. Like all of them, it seems like after every letter I say, well, this is a really good letter. When you read it in one sitting and really think about the people to whom it's written, the person who's writing it, and the circumstances around that, the context that they're in, you really get a good understanding, I think, of of not just the doctrine and theology in these letters, but the reasons and heart behind the letters. And that's what we see in Paul's last letter to his dear friend Timothy, as he encourages him to be strong in the faith.